Welcome to the Key to All This with Tim and Dylan. I'm Dylan. Here's Tim.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, hello there,
Oh,
General
they're perfect.
Kenobi. Um,
Channel Kenobi.
I didn't say genital Kenobi.
Did you
Maybe,
not?
no, it might have sounded like it, but I didn't.
I think so. Maybe it's a
Uh,
Freudian slip,
yeah, I've been thinking about that all day. But also, what I've been thinking about all day is our topic for today. And just before we started recording, I was going to say something, and they said, you know what, I'll save it for the pod. So I have less to talk about our topic, Operation Cinder, and I have more to talk about what happens because of it. I don't like
Okay,
that I'm
cool.
doing this. Huge, huge,
Huge.
big. Um, so yeah, I mean, Operation Cinder, the contingency plan of Emperor Palpatine when he died. Very cool. They talked about it through all of Battlefront 2. It was
hmm
talked about in the Aftermath books. And there's Milo, um,
He's very
the
interested in this.
the Wampa. He's like, "Oh, I got something to say about Operation Tinder." Um,
Wampa attack. He just claws off my hand, my arm.
I would love to see just a big Wampa arm come in and just pull you back because
Yeah.
C-3PO ripped down the danger sign.
Oh yeah, that deleted
Um,
scene.
yeah, but it talked about in the comic books, talked about everywhere, even briefly mentioned in The Mandalorian season 2.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's also mentioned in the coolest way in this Mandalorian season 2.
Mm-hmm.
You get kind of the hint of this pretty awful, almost genocide on Burnin Khan,
Mm-hmm.
and it's it was a city loyal to the Empire, and they just refused to believe that he was dead, and
Yeah.
as a result, they were systematically killed. I think upwards of like 10,000 people,
Yeah, yeah, they were
and it
saying between 5 to 10,000.
it just goes to show you how like this contingency plan was sole purpose was to disrupt everyone,
Hmm.
both Empire and Republic alike, so that the the Empire could regrow in the in the what's the area called, the let me see, um, in the in like the it's the unknown area. You know what I'm talking
The
about?
Outer Rim?
The Outer Rim.
Is that
No, but
really
it's
what?
like the no, it's outside the Outer Rim.
Oh,
It's
okay.
the
Oh, there is a term like the nowhere land or something like that, or
yeah,
the secret place.
yeah. The
The
unknown regions.
unknown
Yes,
regions,
that's it.
the Emperor's treehouse where no girls are allowed.
Uh. So yeah, so it allows them. I hope you really edit that minute long pause where I was searching for the
I don't
word.
edit anymore. I'm
You don't? Okay,
No,
cool.
I
So this
hate
is all
editing.
going in.
Yeah.
Well, I hate myself, so
Yeah, so
we're
the
even.
nether regions, as Tim was
Yeah,
saying.
yes,
Uh,
the private parts of the
yeah.
galaxy.
Hmm.
Yeah, so they could be rebuilt there, and it's kind of just a devious plan.
Hmm. And so in Operation Cinder, obviously, like a bunch of red robots went all
hmm
around, showing the Emperor's face, and he was like, Operation Cinder is happening. And there's a funny scene in Battlefront 2 where Iden Versio is like asking questions and it like flips towards her and it basically is like, error, no, you're unverified, or like, I can't tell you.
Yeah,
Um,
it breaks character.
yeah. And then, yeah, it looks at the screen and it goes, what's my line? Um, but yeah, so basically it was a way to like even confuse the Empire into thinking he might still be alive, and then some people
Yeah,
knew that he wasn't alive, that this was like his final plan, um after he died, and then other people were just like, Emperor is still alive, which I think is very cool. And it's um not cool in the sense of it kind of reminds me of like Nazi Germany, but
hmm
the way that he's just like, I'm going to rule even after I'm gone.
yeah,
And but he does also show up somehow Palpatine returns in Rise of Skywalker, which we're obviously learning all about in Mandalorian. But
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very, very interesting tactics from the Empire, and yeah, fascinating stuff.
Yeah, it really shows how selfish the Emperor was.
Hmm. Even to the point
Pure
where
Sith.
he had a successor,
Mm-hmm.
Masamida, and he doesn't even get to take over because he's
Yeah.
the Emperor's like, I'm still alive.
No, I programmed a bunch of you know robots
Yeah, I got some
to tell you what to
Roombas
do.
floating around. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a real slap in the face for him.
Hmm.
Um, but it kind of works up until always forget that it's you know the war, the rebellion is still going on, and it's just like this
Hmm.
is late stage rebellion.
Hmm.
Um, and that it's not like after the war is lost for the Empire.
Yeah.
So it's literally just like if this is like a chess game, it's like the Emperor trying to just like flip the table
Hmm.
altogether,
Yeah.
um, instead of seeing how it plays out after his death.
Done.
I don't want to play anymore.
You are cheating.
No, you're cheating. I'm
You
bored.
do not play fair. I don't know what voice I'm doing, but you get it.
Yeah, I do. I do get it. Yeah, that was
Okay,
good.
but something too to think of. Obviously, Return of the Jedi. Talked about it a couple episodes ago, but obviously, Return of the Jedi happened well before Operation Cinder was even an idea in someone's head. But do you think that at the end of Return of the Jedi, we have this huge celebration? Uh, Naboo, Endor, Coruscant, everywhere
Hmm.
is rejoicing. Do we think that um, these are the only places that kind of know because they're more in aligned with the rebels, or do we think that this kind of celebration happened because the Death Star was blown up rather than the Emperor possibly being dead? And if so, was there technically after A New Hope a huge celebration like that we just never saw?
I definitely think it's as a result of the Emperor being dead or presumed dead. You
Okay.
know, I think because you have that moment where they literally bring down the statue
Oh
of
yeah,
the
that makes sense.
Emperor, and it's like if they had done that after the first Death Star being destroyed,
We did
Operation
it
Cinder would have started much earlier.
immediately. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
What do you think? Do you think it's just because the second Death Star's destroyed?
Well, I think with because of Operation Cinder, you have to think that there were so many people who didn't believe the Emperor was truly gone. But if you
Yeah.
have all of Coruscant, all of Endor, all of Naboo, all celebrating that the Emperor is dead, Operation Cinder would have failed. Everyone would have been like, "No, we saw the party. Like
Yeah.
I saw Leia's Instagram, and she was posting tons of pictures of
Thirst traps.
fireworks and celebration." And so, like, that's where I kind of want to twist the narrative a little bit to be like, was it the celebration of the ending of the Death Star? Because so little amount of people knew the Emperor was dead because of Operation Cinder, because that being into play.
Yeah, I mean that would be pretty remarkable that they would instantly know. But I guess having the Empire based in Coruscant, that
Hmm.
word would travel pretty quickly there. And then in Naboo, having Naboo
Palpy's
being
hometown.
kind of Palpy's hometown, and also kind of a hotbed for the rebellion, and with ties to you know with ties to the Emperor. So I'm
Yeah.
thinking that maybe that's the reason why.
So maybe we can
Oh,
assume they are more rebel. They're blue states essentially, and
exactly. Yeah.
they're oh wow, that just like there's so much we could dive into with that, and I hate that I said that. We're not going
Yeah.
to. Um, but yeah, I think that makes sense if they're more um, anti emperor, then they'll
Hmm.
believe that he's gone and rejoice. Okay, that makes sense. Cool. I'm done. Good night. Good night, folks.
Good night.
Kiss your babies for me. Um, so within Operation Cinder, obviously you play through like the whole thing in Battlefront 2. But what I really love about it is what like everything that kind of comes because of it. So the Emperor has a successor who doesn't take over. But now in canon, it's basically leading to the new heir of the Empire, who's essentially going to be Thrawn.
Yeah.
So it goes from Palpatine to basically no one for a while, leading to Thrawn taking over. I think that's great because it gives us a whole new, fresh story rather than does anyone want to follow a trilogy about Masameda? No, I mean, they don't. So I like that because of that and the Emperor saying, I'm not really dead,
Hmm.
the Empire can't really move on just yet. So that's like that breaks the whole timeline. That's incredible that's the way things go.
Yeah, from one blue guy to another.
Hmm. Well,
It's
one's a lot better looking than the other one.
that is true. I mean, you can't top Masameda's uh, horns,
Goiters,
goiters.
his
His
lymph nodes.
hmm God, I
Yeah.
love a good node. Yeah, so I think that it really does kind of create like a power vacuum, and he knew that if the Empire was to restart, it would need that to
Hmm.
to do so. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, one thing that's really unfortunate about this being the huge event and us getting the Mandalorian, which is arguably like the best thing we've gotten from Disney, um, besides Rogue One, but
Hmm.
it is the fact that we don't get Operation Cinder as a story in live action. We get it through the game, um, but I feel like everything that happened in Operation Cinder kind of moves to what's going on with the Mandalorian on the Empire side. I would have loved to see Moff Gideon basically saying like the Emperor is dead, and then his kind of rise. I feel like he would have been kind of heir to the Empire. That's kind of how he acts. He acts like he's as big as the Emperor.
Yeah, he's
Um,
almost like kind of like a warlord,
mhm,
who grew and grew and kind of tried to take the learn from the example of you know of what had gone wrong, with
mhm,
the Empire, and trying to make corrective changes toward that.
mhm. Do you think we'll hear more about Operation Cinder in live action?
I hope so, because it's a really cool idea,
Hmm.
and seeing kind of like the late stages of the rebellion is kind of like it does kind of add more flavor to the Return of the Jedi. Knowing
Hmm.
that the battle's really not over yet,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of things that also set up Palpatine's return, even
Hmm.
very small things. You know, Building that storyline to give credence to his return, I
Hmm.
think would be great. Yeah.
Yeah. So another thing from the video game, which is basically our main source of Operation Cinder information, is we get Iden Versio. Um, Bad guy turned good, bad, whatever. She's a little clouded, and she does have a good redemption. Since video games are kind of in the realm of taking the actors who or taking actual actors, doing full mocap, full scan of their faces. Do you think we'll get live action Iden Versio?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I think all my pet theory is that all live action or all like kind of green screened, mocapped characters will actually make an appearance in a TV show or movie,
Hmm.
like for sure, 100%.
Yeah. I think that Iden and also Shreve, the Duros
Mm-hmm.
of Battlefront 2, my favorite
Gang
character from
leader,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, from that. I think they would be incredible for Dave Filoni's movie. If we
Absolutely.
are getting the solid like end game style
Well,
movie, I think it would be
I
great to
also think
include them.
that it was written in a way that felt very much like Dave Filoni could have written
Hmm.
it. Shrift
Yeah,
was like a perfectly written character.
yeah.
And yeah, I think that I think a lot of the things that we see in the video games would also be great to see, even in part
Hmm.
in live action. I especially
Yeah.
think the Battle of Jakku,
Oh
like,
yeah.
is probably the most epic battle in all of Star Wars, in my opinion.
Hmm.
And the stakes are pretty high too, because it's literally the it's like Endor again, except the secret weapon is the this kind of like using the planet's core to
Yeah.
destroy all the life essence of everything.
Yeah.
Like that's terrifying, and
Hmm.
I think it would make it a great film.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even if we
Adaptation.
don't get Aiden in live action, I would still love Bad Batch is ending next year.
Yeah.
It's 3 seasons and then it's done. So obviously we're going to need a new animated show. And I think we already have Tales of the Jedi, which we discussed maybe last week or the week before.
Hmm.
But if we got a Tales of the Galaxy or something, where we do get a full episode of Operation Cinder, we get a full episode of Battle of Jakku, like all of these fun things that we've just kind of heard about or seen clips of. If we get a full narrative of that, I'm on
Yeah.
board. Dave Filoni, who does watch our show, he told me in a letter, make it happen, make it so.
Yeah.
I just made
Do it.
a Star Trek reference. I hate myself.
I just said do it. So
Make it
I've
so.
redeemed you.
Thank you. Oh, I said it again. Can you say do it one more time?
Do it.
Great. And then I have one last thing that I want to get into. This is a
Sure.
super quick thing. This is something that I've been thinking of for a while. So I think a lot of Star Wars is disconnected. We've got The Mandalorian. We got to meet Luke, which I think is great. We've seen Zeb in live action. We're about to get the rest of Rebels in live action. We've got the Bad Batch, everything, and I think Omega is going to be Alana Kane. But something's very disconnected for me. When I think of Rebels, I think of Bad Batch, I think of Clone Wars, I think of Mandalorian, I think of Return of the Jedi, I think of the sequel trilogy, and there's one scene that I need to happen in either Ahsoka or Heir to the Empire, quote unquote Heir to the Empire. I
Hmm.
need to see Harrison Dula, a young Lando Calrissian, and Leia Organa in a scene together.
Well, that would be great.
That is the one thing that I need to truly pull all of this together and really make me feel like each person's in the same galaxy. Because in I believe Rogue One, they announced Syndulla over the intercom at
Yeah.
Yavin, and then Luke knows Mando, he knows Ahsoka, so we know that these characters know each other, but we don't know how close
We
they
never.
are, and
Yeah. We
I
don't see
feel
their
like yeah,
intersection.
yeah, and I feel like with Operation Cinder, and this is why I'm getting into it, Harrison Dula was a part of that. Leia was a part of that.
Hmm.
Lando was a huge part of that. And I feel
As we
like
know. Yeah.
to tie everything in together, I need a scene with those three live action.
I'm 100% in on that. Like, even seeing the Operation Cinder play out in the Battle of Naboo in the
Hmm.
games is like so fulfilling.
Yeah.
And I think incorporating Leia more in general is a great
In
idea.
general,
In
General
general.
General
Oh,
Organa.
I remember when she was just in Princess.
Hello
Uh,
there.
I love it.
I mean,
Uh,
that's all I have to say about it. I think it's a very clever tactic from the Empire, but I also think it's an incredibly selfish tactic from the Emperor to like take everyone with him. If he doesn't get his way,
yeah.
he's going to throw a fit, and that is
I
Operation Cinder.
I think the final kind of screw you to the Emperor is the fact that his home planet is one of the few
Celebrating.
all one celebrating, and also has managed to stop Operation Cinder in its
Mhm.
tracks.
Yeah.
I think that's like such a big slap in his face, his big old dead face.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think that time will tell whether we'll see this play out or not in
Yeah.
uh, you know TV or film. But I think it would be awesome to see this kind of a darker time
Hmm.
than that people don't know, really. A lot of people don't know about.
Yeah, and I think that if we do end up getting a Tales of the Galaxy type thing, we just have one episode where he finds out that his home planet rooted for him to be dead.
Yeah, see his reaction.
Yep, I
Yeah,
love
it's
it.
like recorded footage that is shown to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, join us next week. We're gonna. We might have mentioned this before, but we're gonna talk about Forlom and Zuckuss. I think there's gonna be a lot of talk of bounty hunters in general in this episode. But leave a comment, literally wherever you're listening to or watching this. Let us know what you want to listen to. We're gonna kind of have a new format where we switch between characters, movie, a certain episode. An event to kind of keep it fresh, so it's not all Obi-Wan trailer, Obi-Wan with Boba Fett, whatever. I think it's gonna be really good. Follow us on social media at TKTAOT. Go to our website. It's new. I built it. TKTAOT.com. And text me. My phone number is not going to be shared. But yeah, let us know. Tim and I are very cool people, and we'd like to chat. So
Be our friend.
be our friend. We are so lonely. Me so lonely.
And me so lonely. And with that, may the fourth be with you.
May the fourth be with you? Jeez, when are we releasing this? And also with you, Tim.
And also with you.
I'll just put force up on the screen.